26-year-old Tachibana Hinata is dead. Hanagaki Takemichi gasps after hearing the news reporter utter these words as they broadcast the dispute between the Tokyo Manji gang and other gangs in the city. Upon hearing this, he immediately recognizes Hinata as his girlfriend from middle school. And here I can't even remember who I met yesterday. Meanwhile, Takemichi's landlord is banging his door, shouting that his television is way too loud, and how many times she has to tell him this. Hearing this, Takemichi opens his door slightly to apologize as the lady keeps shouting at him. Following this, Takemichi reaches his workplace, where his boss keeps scolding him for messing things up as Takemichi keeps apologizing. On his way back home, he unintentionally scratches a car using a coin, and when the owner starts shouting at him, he runs away. My man Takemichi is just a rotten, useless adult at this point. Standing on a train platform, Takemichi thinks back on his life, wondering where things went wrong, and as he is thinking about all this, someone pushes him off the platform in front of the train. Takemichi's entire life starts flashing before his eyes. However, the instant he thought he was going to die, he didn't think of his family and friends. He thought about Tachibana Hinata. He thinks about his life in middle school when everything was perfect. He even had a girlfriend and was popular. In the very next moment, Takemichi is standing beside his middle school friends getting out of the train. He immediately recognizes them as Makoto, Yamagishi, Akun, and Takuya. As they get off the train, Takemichi witnesses his own reflection in the mirror and wonders who this lame-ass punk is. Upon realizing that he is seeing himself in the mirror, he is shocked as to how lame he used to look in middle school. I mean, golden hair definitely looks lame as hell. However, after seeing his friends, he realizes that he is not the only one who looks lame. He even discovers a coin and flip phone in his pocket and gets way too excited over it. Despite all this, Takemichi still thinks he is dreaming, and all of this is just a life flashing before his eyes thingy. As he is lost in his thoughts, Akun tells him that he is glad that Takemichi's cousin Masaru is the leader of Shibuya Middle, as Yamagishi adds that if their third years come out, they can just take Masaru's name and get rid of them. Takemichi, on the other hand, can't process what is happening around him, and after pondering for some time, he remembers that they are talking about his cousin Masaru, who claimed that he is the leader of Shibuya Middle. However, he still cannot grasp the situation and questions his friends regarding it, who tell him that they are going to challenge the Shibuya Middle since they look down on them, which shocks him. Takemichi remembers that something like this really happened in his past, but he can't seem to remember the details. His friends are insanely pumped about all this as they keep shouting and challenge every other person they see. Takemichi, on the other hand, is scared and crying as he hasn't done any of this in more than 10 years. But he keeps reminding himself to calm down, as this is just a flashback. I'm pretty sure this is not a mere flashback. I guess getting beaten to a pulp will wake him up. Upon reaching the part where they were supposed to brawl it out, Takemichi and his friends are confused since they haven't met any Shibuya Middle second year yet. Yamagishi wonders if they got scared and ran away, as Akun comments that they are just cool city delinquents anyway. As they are conversing, Takemichi remembers this park and has a really bad feeling about this. In the meantime, Shibuya Middle third years appear out of nowhere and challenge them to a battle, questioning if they are the ones sniffing their second years. Seeing them, Yamagishi shouts that they will deal with their leader, Masaru-kun, and upon hearing this, the third years start laughing as they call out Masaru, ordering him to buy them drinks. Takemichi also remembers that his cousin Masaru was just a gopher and was showing off in front of him. He also remembers what happens after this, as the Shibuya Middle third years beat the shit out of them. All this time, Takemichi keeps apologizing as the delinquents keep mocking them. I saw this coming a long time ago. After beating them to a pulp, the delinquents tell them that they are now part of the Tokyo Manji gang, which makes Takemichi realize that this is where things went downhill. He and his friends were treated like garbage, and after graduating middle school, Takemichi left the town and started working part-time jobs to support himself. Despite all this, he was never good at anything and spent his entire life apologizing. Even after all this beating, Takemichi has not realized that this is not a frickin' flashback. As he shouts, he has realized that his life sucked. At this moment, we see Tachibana Hinata right before his eyes and realizes that her death 12 years ago was also Tokyo Manji gang's fault. However, he can't even remember what Hinata looks like. Without thinking anymore, he rushes to her apartment and reaches her home. As soon as he rings the doorbell, he hears Hinata's voice, and as she comes out, Takemichi starts crying. Without saying anything else, he turns back and starts walking. Upon inquiring, he tells Hinata that he just wanted to see her face. Hinata, however, doesn't believe him and follows him, saying that he seems different from usual, grabbing him by his face. She then forces Takemichi to spit everything, as she tells him that she wants to know everything about him, since she is his girlfriend. What did my man do to deserve such a girlfriend, and what am I doing wrong? This is just unfair. Following this, Takemichi apologizes to her as she tells him that they'll meet tomorrow at school. Takemichi leaves her apartment crying like a frickin' baby. As he is heading back to his place, Takemichi decides to sit on a swing in some random park. However, his alone time gets interrupted by some thugs who are bullying a kid. Seeing this, Takemichi gets up and punches the thug right in the face as he shouts at them. He then grabs a broken glass bottle from the dustbin and threatens them, ordering to get lost, or he'll kill them. Hearing this, the thugs took to their toes and ran away. Well, this was somewhat cool. Takemichi tells the boy to get lost as well, but he decides to teach him some things about being a man. He tells him that when you come across such people, you have to man up, and even though you might get beaten up yourself, you should not flinch. As he is saying this, he realizes that he also lacks these things in life. He then asks the boy his name, to which he replies by stating that his name is Tachibana Naoto. Takemichi immediately realizes that he is Hinata's brother, as he tells him that he should have said something. He also remembers that Naoto will also die alongside Hinata 12 years later. As both of them sit together, Takemichi asks Naoto if he loves his sister, to which he replies negatively, which shocks Takemichi. Despite this, Takemichi tells him to take care of her sister, as he tells him that she is the person he loved the most. He further tells him that on the exact day in 2017, he fell off the station platform, and as he thought he was going to die, he found himself in his middle school self. However, he is not sure what this phenomenon is called, with Naoto telling him that it might be time leap. But Takemichi still doesn't believe this, as he thinks that he is stuck in a long dream. Despite this, he's happy that he got to see Hinata's face once again. Following this, he tells Naoto that on July 4th, 2017, Hinata Tachibana will die alongside his brother Tachibana Naoto. The reason he revealed this information is because he wants Naoto to save Hinata 12 years later, even though he's not sure if he will believe him. In his mind, he wants to change the future, in which he had to hopelessly watch Hinata and Naoto die on television. I guess he is a nice guy at the very least, but yeah, he's still a coward. With this, he shakes his hand with Naoto, and soon as their hands connect, Takemichi's consciousness travels back into the future, where he's lying on a bed with a police officer telling him that he fell off the station platform, but someone saved him. In the meantime, the person who saved him appears at the spot and asks if they can have a conversation, to which the police officer agrees. The man introduces himself as Tachibana Naoto, which shocks Takemichi, as Naoto had died in the future timeline. Another thing Takemichi cannot believe is that everything he experienced sometime before was real. Naoto tells Takemichi that on July 4, 2017, he leapt through time and warned Naoto, which saved his life in the future, and he managed to save Takemichi as well. Takemichi's time leap changed the future. Naoto further tells him that his words about protecting his sister motivated him to study hard and become a detective so that he can save his sister. Hearing this, Takemichi inquires about Hinata, to which Naoto replies by stating that he couldn't save her even after becoming a detective. This guy became a detective just by believing a lame-ass middle schooler who said that he would die in 12 years? How does this even work? Hearing this, Takemichi vows that he will save Hinata by time-leaping into the future once again. What do you guys think will happen from here on? Will Takemichi be able to save Hinata? That's all, folks. If you'd like me to continue with this manga chapters, comment continue in the comment section below. If you would like to watch more manga or manhwa recaps like this, subscribe to my channel. Sayonara!